Hello and welcome back to the Jeevers Golf Channel. My name is Hans Jeevers. I'm a PGA Tour fantasy golf contributor for ProGolfNow.com and Fansided.com. I'm here today to talk about this week's upcoming PGA Tour event, which will begin this Thursday from Thousand Oaks, California. The host of the tournament will be the Sherwood Country Club. Sherwood Country Club has never hosted an official event on the PGA Tour. However, Sherwood did host Tiger's unofficial event during the off-season from 2000 to 2013. That particular tournament usually had a field of about 13 to 18 players, depending on the year. One of the reasons I tell you that, if you go back to look at the course history from that time period, you see a guy that finishes 15th. Keep in mind, there wasn't 100 guys in the field when he finished 15th. There may have only been 18. So a finish of first or second or third may be more impressive than 15th in a small field. So having said that, I do like to look at that. It is nice to take a look at how certain guys performed here in the past. However, there have been some small adjustments to the course since 2013. However, the basic course concepts have not changed overall. The greens are a little bit bigger. They changed the greens from POA to bent grass. But overall, I think you having a chance to play this golf course like, let's say, a Bubba Watson that played it 4 times, I think it's an advantage. So when I say 4 times, he played 4 tournaments, competitive play on this golf course, that's an advantage. So one thing about Sherwood Country Club is it has, this particular golf course has 5 par 5s, and I don't think there's any other golf course on the PGA Tour schedule that has 5 par 5s. What does that tell me just from face value? It tells me that I want to find guys that can hit it a long way and that have the ability to score eagles rather than birdies when those opportunities arise, because eagles get you more points on the slate. They could possibly equal out to higher finishing position for the tournament. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, right? You'd rather have Bubba Watson getting eagles than a Kevin Streelman getting you a birdie because he's hitting it shorter, right? The game's a lot easier when you hit it a long way. Just ask Bryson DeChambeau, right? So, having said that, let's dive right into my selections. On the DraftKings side, I'm going with the 29-year-old Englishman, Tyrell Hatton. Tyrell's been playing some outstanding golf as of late. In his last 14 starts on the European and PGA Tours combined, he has 3 wins. He won Arnold Palmer's tournament in March, and he won the BMW Championship 2 weeks ago in Surrey, England. So after winning the BMW Championship in England, he took the long flight all the way to California and admitted he was highly jet-lagged in the first round of last week's CJ Cup at Sherwood. And he still managed to fire, I believe, the first round 65 and was in the lead. So Tyrell is a great guy to listen to in an interview. He tells you exactly what he's feeling and puts emotions on his sleeve. And he admitted, he goes, I was brutally tired and irritable out there, and I don't know how I put up a score. So he eventually finished, I believe, top 5 last week. I like Tyrell having an extra week to get himself acclimated to the time change and the rest. And I just think this guy is on the upswing. I have no doubt he could win this tournament this week. So he comes in on the slate at 10,000 on DraftKings. Next up, I'm going with the American, Jason Kokrak. Jason just won his first event on the PGA Tour last week. He comes in on the slate at 8,600. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about Jason in this particular golf tournament. And I think in the DFS community, you have a lot of people that tend to fade the winners of events the following week. And I can understand that thought process, as I generally don't like to back people that just won a golf tournament, especially their maiden tournament on the PGA Tour. However, I try to look at the things that you can't see in a stat sheet. And I've seen I watched some interviews rather with Kokrak after the event, and he strikes me as a guy that this is his job. He's taking it very seriously. He's not some 21-year-old guy that's going to go on a bender for 2 days drinking, okay? Not to kid too much about that, but he strikes me as a professional golfer that is wanting to put together some good golf tournaments. It's his job. He wants to play well. and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he played outstanding this week. Let's not forget Jason Kokrak is a bomber. He hits the ball a long way, and he can take care of these par fives, I can assure you. So Jason Kokrak comes in on the slate on DraftKings at 8,600. Another guy I like a lot is 21-year-old Chilean Joaquin Niemann. He comes in on the slate at $8,400. This is a guy that loves bent grass greens. He's going to get the bent grass this week. He got it last week. I mean, this guy, I'd love to see the stats on how he putts on other green surfaces, the variance, because I know it's not good. He loves bent grass. So obviously you need to do more than just putting. And one thing I like to look at from a DFS perspective prior to a golf tournament is how golfers have been performing over the last 12 competitive rounds in relation to the field that they're playing this week. So in relation to this week's current listed ZOZO Championship field, Joaquin ranks 8th in GIR, 6th in strokes gained off the tee, and 13th in strokes gained ball striking. You're going to need to be a good ball striker on this golf course. This is a Jack Nicklaus golf course. Jack Nicklaus golf courses tend to be second shot golf courses. One of the reasons that Tiger Woods has won a lot of golf tournaments on Jack Nicklaus designs. What do I mean by that? Well, generally off the tee, it's not that difficult on Nicklaus courses. He doesn't make it that punitive. You can just pound it out there. What is important is your iron game and what you do with your second shot. And if you don't hit irons well, you're going to have trouble. So I just mentioned that Joaquin was 13th in strokes gained putting in relation to the field in the last 12 rounds. I like the way he is looking, and I like his price at $8,400. Let's shift over to FanDuel. On FanDuel, I'm going with Viktor Hovland, 23-year-old Norwegian. 4 top 20 finishes in his last 5 events in the PGA Tour, including a 13th place result at the US Open last month. He's a guy that can take advantage of par 5s, and he's a great ball striker as well. His problem through the years in his young career has been around the green. He's been working on that very hard, and I think that his great iron play could benefit him well on this Nicklaus course. Next up on FanDuel, just to make sure I mentioned it, Victor comes in on the slate at 10-1 on FanDuel. Next up, I'm going with 2-time Masters champion. He has 2 green jackets, and that would be Bubba Watson, the lefty. He has 4 top 25 finishes in his last 6 events on the PGA Tour, including a 7th place result at the CJ Cup at Shadow Creek last week. In relation to this week's current listed ZOZO Championship field in the last 12 rounds played on the PGA Tour, Watson ranks 1st in GIR. He's pounding greens in regulation. I like to see that. 1st in GIR. 2nd in strokes gained on par 5s. 2nd in strokes gained on par 5s. I like that. And he's 9th in driving distance. That's the kind of skill set you want this week. Okay, so having said that, I mentioned earlier that Tiger hosted an event here, the World Challenge from 2000 to 2013 at Sherwood, and Watson played 4 of those events, and he finished in the top 9, I think. A couple in the top 3. I know what you're saying. Hey, there's only 15 or 18 guys. That's not that impressive. Well, he finished top 3 a few times. Nonetheless, he has some competitive rounds on this track. So I like that. Okay, there has been some variation in the course. They widened the green some since 2013, but still the general design of the golf course is the same. Next up, Sebastian Munoz, the young Korean, 27-year-old Colombian. He has 5 top 23 finishes in his last 7 events in the PGA Tour, including an 8th place result at the Tour Championship. Not only did he make it to the Tour Championship, he had a very respectable result. I believe it was only his 2nd full season on the PGA Tour, and he does have a PGA Tour victory under his belt. The big guy can hit it a long way. I like him on this golf course. Lastly, on FanDuel, Taylor Gooch, 28-year-old American. He finished 5th last week at the CJ Cup, and I took a look at his stats in relation to the field last week, his fellow competitors at the CJ Cup. And after 4 rounds of tournament play at the CJ Cup in relation to the field, Gooch ranked 7th in driving accuracy and 14th in greens in regulation. So that's a quick rundown of my picks. Don't want to take all day, want to make it short and to the point. So you can check out my articles that are out there right now as we speak on progolfnow.com and fansided.com. All of my content is free to check out. I don't put the links in the description due to YouTube not being a big fan of putting links in the description like that. So I don't want to get flagged. So if you don't mind hitting that like button, I'd certainly appreciate it. If you're one of my subscribers, thank you so much for checking out my content each and every week. You can find me on Twitter at JeeversGolf. If you're new to my channel, you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be great. If you don't mind hitting that like button, that'd be outstanding as well. Let's enjoy this week's event at Sherwood Country Club. And we've got Tiger back, and the Masters is just a few weeks away. Take care.